Well, hello and welcome to Fun Fantasy FPL. My name is Harry.
And I'm Stephen Berry.
And on this week's pod, we have to apologise because we've been off the air. It's my fault. Unfortunately, I was moving house. Life got in the way. But I hope things have been going well. We are midway through as we record this game week 32. So we're recording this on the Wednesday. Newcastle Palace game is due to kick off in about an hour's time. So, Stephen, where are you sitting right now in terms of points? And who have you got left to play?
I have Nick Pope, Gordon, and Isaac left to play. But Barry, I'm not going to lie, this game week hurts. And I mean really hurt. I had Robertson, own goal. Spence, own goal. To rub salt in the wounds, I captained Danny Welbeck. It was João Pedro who got the brace. I had the bravery, the foresight, the genius to bring in Cisco last week. Forgot to, and then put him third on my bench because I forgot to do my bench in order. I would have put him ahead of Timber and he would have gone on for Son. So that's 13 points that aren't going to come on. So, yeah.
13 points.
And Cisco, yeah, you got a goal and an assist. And probably 3 bonus. I couldn't, actually I think it was 3 bonus. But I couldn't look because it was just too depressing. Knowing that they were just going to sit there.
Yes, it was 3 bonus.
Yeah. No, it's going to sit there. So, I mean, so it's just, I don't understand, just the game sometimes just hates me. I had, as I said, the genius to think of in Cisco, and then I just bottle it. It's just, it's not good, Barry. It's not good.
It's just a classic Stephen Berry move, I feel. Well, I'm sitting on 46 points, but with 5 players to play, including my captain. So I've got Pope, Munoz, Sarr, Mateta, and Captain Isaac. You would have seen the lineup. Gordon is benched. Harvey Barnes is clearly doing bits. Yeah, getting. I think if you captained him, he got you 30 points already, and he's starting tonight against Palace. I think it'll be a difficult game for Newcastle. I don't think it'll be a walkover by any means, but I think that they've got some good chances there. And Murphy, the player that you love to hate, he is absolutely going for it. Got an assist. So if you captained him, you're kind of on evens with any players that have Isaac and captain them. But I'm sitting on 46 points. Like I said, with Isaac, I started Saka. Not crazy happy about it. Digne hasn't played, which is annoying. So Saliba's coming on for 2 points. Lewis did play, but obviously didn't get the clean sheet. But I've got returns from Mamouche, Rogers, Salah, and a nice little 7-pointer from Kirkez as well. So I'm on 46 points with 5 players to play. I would be annoyed if I didn't get past 60 points tonight, to be honest. So yeah, and obviously now we are on the precipice of game week 33, big double game week. Not as big as we thought it would be, I'd say, but we are definitely in the precipice of that. Yeah, Stephen, I mean, we can talk about the games that have happened.
Well,
so
let's just talk about. I'd like to talk about why it's not as big of a double, because everybody was eyeing up Ipswich Crystal Palace's Arsenal's double. And if anyone watched that game and thought, have Arsenal given up on the league, and had even a percentage of doubt, wow. I mean, we're just
mass rotation.
Yeah, I mean, and then just when people came on, like Saka and Odegaard came on, they just clearly did not care. So all of a sudden, I mean, let's be. If you look at the league table, Arsenal I think have a 7-point cushion or sort of something like that. Unless there's a chance they won't finish second, they've given up on the league. Quite and fair enough. So
and we should say that it's also they are currently in the capital of Spain, ready to face the Galacticos. Well, look. I should hope that an English team gets through, but it is Arsenal. So look, if they win that game, the semi-final then becomes against PSG. You're going to see a lot of rotation, lots and lots of rotation. And I think it's worth also mentioning that Palace, Villa, and Bournemouth, no, not Bournemouth, and Brighton will also not Brighton, Forest. Let me do that again. Palace, Villa, and Forest will all be mass rotating in the next couple of weeks because they will have the FA Cup quarterfinals. So it's a really difficult patch, not just from the double game week perspective in terms of who's gone through and who's had the doubles, but I think it's also in terms of who starts. Because I was dead set to captain Saka in this game week. I'm now doubting that. Would you be recommending that? Would you go someone else?
No, I wouldn't. Honestly, I wouldn't be touching Arsenal players. If you have them, I think Saka will get minutes because the one that we did learn from Brentford is that he will come on. There's the rest Rust debate. So I don't think I'd be in a... Well, actually, but he's so expensive. Can you actually... Do you know, I might go back on this. He's, 10 million or whatever he is. For somebody...
If you're having your sticking, but I mean, I wouldn't be buying him. I think
yeah. Oh, but again, at that price, he blanks in 34. I mean, an Ipswich... I said this a while ago. Arsenal have given up, understandably so. Even if they don't get through tonight, let's say they do like one of the worst bottle jobs of all time. I still don't. They're not going to concentrate on the league. They're probably going to be crestfallen, and like the league is still coming to a whimper no matter what. So yeah, unfortunately, Arsenal from an FPL perspective are just not assets you want to target. They're just not.
Yeah. Well, I've got triple. I've got Raya, Saliba, and Saka. I think Raya and Saliba will play both games. I can't see them being rotated.
Saliba's played every Premier League minute this season, I believe.
Yeah, for sure. And when you haven't got... I think if Gabriel was fit, I would be slightly concerned about Saliba being rotated because you could probably play with one of those, and that's okay, but you can't play with none of those because, Kiwior and who would you put there? Ben White, maybe, if he's fit?
He's being nursed back to health, yeah.
Exactly right. So, yeah, look, I think from an Arsenal perspective, it's difficult to see if you can captain players, but they do have the best double. They got Ipswich away, Palace at home. Palace will rotate. So in between, Palace have got Bournemouth, then they've got Arsenal, and then they've got 3 days later, probably one of the biggest games in their club's history. They have never won a major cup ever, domestic cup ever.
Well, they did get to the FA Cup final under Alan Pardew, I believe. Yeah, they didn't win.
That was the famous dance, wasn't it? It was the
Yeah.
famous dance in the 86th minute, whatever it was, But no, yeah, exactly. So, but that will be one of their biggest games ever.
Yeah.
So, they will rotate. They'll put the kids out. There's no way, and so that makes Arsenal assets more attractive. But if they've got a semi-final a couple of weeks later, would they be? No,
because again against Brentford are normally a pretty industrious, hard-working team. Arsenal was so lazy, it was infectious. Yeah. Even Brentford players were like, "Oh, we can't be arsed." It was just such a
very dull game.
Yeah, and I think and again, again, if you're a rotated Palace player, I don't know who Kamida. Let's say he probably starts over Eze. Eze could get injured. Are you going to be running around? Probably not. No. So, and are you going to be running around against the team?
Well. That's
against the team.
That's the other thing. It's like, do those players fly into tackles if they're worried about missing the FA Cup semi? It's difficult.
Cool. The headline is don't buy Arsenal is what I would say.
But if you have, keep. I think it'd be silly to sell. Cool. Well, I'm going to talk about the Man City Palace game. I mean, look, I think we were all thinking after the Man United derby, is football boring? Is boring football going to take over with these pass sideways, no tempo? But this was a cracking game. I mean, it definitely was one for the ages. Palace going 2-0 up, absolute incredible goals, great stories. Kevin De Bruyne scoring the free kick to sort of set the comeback going forwards. Mamouche to get something as well, and McAtee's sort of playing in that front three because Foden's not quite fit yet or something like that. It's what Pep said in a very cryptic way, as he always does. And I have said on this pod a couple of times, City are back. I don't think they are, but I do think in that second half they press like the City of old. And I think that's been the thing that's been missing from their game is the press just hasn't been there. They used to scare teams. They used to really intimidate teams at home. And it leads me on to thinking a lot more deeply about, Man City assets. So I've got Mamouche at the moment and Lewis. Lewis, who did play, He is naturally a right back, and they've been struggling at right back, so I don't know why he hasn't played, but now he is. If he gets both doubles, I'm very happy about that. If he doesn't, fine, whatever. I'm still going to bench boost. But the player I want the most, the player I covet the most in the game is Kevin De Bruyne. If I could, and I am looking at taking a hit to bring him in. He is not guaranteed minutes. I think he gets maximum 130. Maybe 140 minutes across the 2 game weeks. Stephen, talk me out of it. I'm a willing customer for a -4 for Kevin De Bruyne, but talk me out of it.
I don't think. If anything, I'm going to encourage you. So I've already talked about Saka. I think is too much money. So they're probably similar. I'm sure KDB is expensive, but I think Saka to KDB
He's slightly cheaper. It's like $1 million cheaper, I think.
Yeah. So either way, but I think Saka to KDB makes a lot of sense. He's going through his swan song. Man City have nothing to. Well, actually, that's not true. Man City have to get Champions League still. But that being said, Chelsea are falling away. Aston Villa and Newcastle, you think they're a bit inconsistent. So I think Kevin De Bruyne on a swan song would be good, and he always ends the season well. Kevin De Bruyne. I don't know. I've got this in my head. Like he got a hat trick on the last day of the season, a while ago. I always seem to remember him being good in the run in. So no, I love it.
So Stephen, this is what I could do. So I've got Cliver, Isaac, and Pope in the 33. Now Newcastle have Aston Villa away, difficult fixture. Isaac probably will score, but it's still a difficult fixture. I could do Cliver, Pope, and Isaac out for Areola. I know Areola, but I mean, stay with me here. Yeah. He's got Southampton at home.
The fixture where you want a goalkeeper?
Well, look, I'm thinking of a cheap. I mean, I've got 0.9 in the bank, so I could go to a more expensive keeper. Maybe a doubler. I could even go to Martinez. It's a double, but then they've got a horrible double, and they've got FA Cup, which I'll come on to. So Wood will be away at Tottenham, which is an easy fixture, and then I'd be able to get Kevin De Bruyne in, and I would do the FPL no-no on one of the big FPL no-nos. That's bring a player in and captain him.
Love it,
yes, Stephen.
Love it.
Yes,
you know
Stephen,
I'm in.
I am.
I
just love it. He's gonna score. He's gonna score loads of goals. They want to put him in the shop window, not because they're gonna make any money, but because he's been such a servant to the club.
Yeah.
Why not get the best out of him? And he's also playing in a false 9 position.
Yeah.
I do believe if Haaland wasn't playing, they wouldn't play this system at all.
Yeah.
He doesn't fit in that system. But
I'll be honest with you. I don't see the point in doing a goalkeeper transfer. I don't really see what gains
it's more
you
for
get.
The money. I could actually keep Pope. I don't have to save the money. Yeah. But then it was selling Isaac, and I'd had a free hit in 34, and then I'd probably bring Isaac back.
Yeah.
Wow.
Maybe I love it.
Or something.
So the next game I'd like to talk about is Chelsea Ipswich, mainly because I need to somehow vent about my 13 points from Intisco, which those differential points. I mean, just to throw them away. But Barry, it's a bit of an open question. Are Chelsea good? How are they third? How are they third? Like they seem to lose every single week, and yet somehow have just stayed third. Although, they're sick. They finally dropped to sixth.
I'll give you this stat, Stephen. So, at Christmas, Chelsea were third for goals scored. Since then, they're 20th. That's the reason.
They're worse than Southampton.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. So they are worse than Southampton if you take out penalties. Yeah, definitely. If you take out penalties, they're worse. I think if you keep penalties in, they're 17th. But if you take out penalties, they are 20th.
Wow.
That's the reason. And look, Nicholas Jackson got injured in that time, but let's be real, he's not been prolific. Obviously, Cole Palmer, he got a penalty saved. He's run into a bit of cold form. But generally they just can't score. And imagine spending £1 billion and you can't score.
Yeah.
Imagine that.
I mean, Palmer, I think he's got 3 returns in like 10 games or something like that. Maybe even.
Yeah, it's really bad. And that's why I wasn't worried about the selling of Saka to him, because from him to Saka, sorry, because even though he got a couple of assists, Saka's made up for that even coming off the bench. You know, he got 7 points in the last game, 1 point in this game, 8 points. Palmer's got 2 assists in that time. It's the same points.
Yeah. So it's not good, is it? It's not good. I mean, no. So I mean, I guess they drew away at Brentford. I'm just going. Oh, they obviously beat Spurs, of course. That was the win.
That's easy.
They lost. Oh, they played Arsenal and they were dreadful, but we weren't much better either.
Ipswich have got 4 points against them this season.
I've just gone through their fixtures. The reason why they've won is that they've played, I think, all the bottom three I saw there. I'm pretty sure that I saw Leicester, Southampton, and Leicester, Southampton. Who's else? Who's the other? Ipswich. Who they just played. So actually, these wins that they've got, they're not. That's a bit of a false dawn, really. They have Fulham away next. Fulham, who that's their derby, not Chelsea's derby, but it's Fulham's derby. Fulham like playing against big teams. I mean, the fans don't seem happy with Maresca. You can criticize them for that, but nevertheless, it seems to be having an impact. So, what does it mean from an FPL perspective? If Nicholas Jackson starts,
it's a firm avoid.
The only thing I would say is, so they've got Fulham, they have Everton, they have Liverpool, they have Newcastle, they have Man U, they have Nottingham Forest. That is not the best run in either.
Their easiest fixture there is Man United at home. That's their easiest fixture. Because Everton's still listed as a green fixture. It's not a green fixture.
No, Moisey.
If David Moyes was in charge at the beginning of the season and had the similar win ratio as he's got at the moment, they'd be 6th.
He would get them into Europe and would win them a European trophy.
Probably. Yeah. It's prime Barclays Premier League 2012-2013 season with Lukaku at top. But instead he's got I can't remember who. I don't actually know who's up top for them. Oh, well, Beto.
Beto, yeah. Who's morphed into Erling Haaland, one of the worst strikers in the Premier League history. He's somehow changed it around.
But that's the thing. Moisey went there with his heart, and I was worried about that. But he's absolutely smashed it. So look, I think Chelsea's a firm avoid. I think Ipswich is a fun team to own. I did think about Liam Delap actually, because if you look at their,
he's your favourite player in the world. Of course, you thought.
I love Liam Delap. Honestly, it's just amazing. Look, Liam Delap. He's got Arsenal at home, Newcastle away, Everton away. Difficult. But in the last 3 fixtures, Brentford at home, who will be on the beach. Leicester away, who they will beat, and he probably will score. And as we always know, targeting West Ham is always a good strategy. And he's got West Ham at home last game of the season, where they're probably already relegated, and he probably is going to be putting himself in the shop window. And let's be real. Let's look at all the big clubs in Europe. Let's just focus purely on the Premier League for now. Liverpool need a striker. Man United need a striker. Arsenal need a backup striker at least, because their other strikers are made of paper. Right? You then got Chelsea. They need a striker.
Arsenal, to be very clear, right? Need a striker.
Yeah, you don't have a striker. You have wingers that have been converted, right?
Barry, we famously don't have a striker. Have you heard? How many times is the saying, do Arsenal need to buy a striker? How many times has that been said this season? That has got to be the biggest cliche of this particular season, I would say.
Yeah, no, for sure. And then, look, Cunha's going to leave Wolves. Do they need another striker? I know it's a bit of a sideways move, but Wolves will say in the Premier League they'll be well financed. Their manager seems to have got the best out of them, and he loves a beer. So
there's no chance in hell Delap will go to Wolves. He will.
It's a £30 million release clause. £30 million.
I'm saying no. I'm saying he's too good. He will be top 10 minimum, I would say. I'd say the lowest he would probably go would be like a Brentford, but I think he will. The only thing I'd say is, I guess it depends on your definition of lowest. So I could see him at Spurs. I could see West Ham buying him, but he's not going to be going to. No, he won't be going to Wolves. He's better than that.
I think if Liverpool sell Darwin Nunez, I think he would slot so well into that Liverpool team. Imagine how many goals he's got. The Kane-esque. I've said this for all season. He's got the Kane movement and physicality. He's got that. He's just a class striker. I'm really excited.
I wouldn't go that far, but I have come around on him as I've mentioned before. Because of his surname, I just can't look past. It's if he changed his surname to Delapo, I think he would be the best player in the world. You said this last
time. You said this last week, and I reckon the only person that's got bias is you. Right? That's the only person.
Think so.
Honestly,
if he's as
no,
good as, if you're saying he's like Harry Kane, why?
I'd say he's got the attributes. He's got the attributes to be a Harry Kane. He's got the bare. If you imagine Harry Kane when he was just sort of breaking through into the Spurs team, the way he played then is the way that Liam Delap is playing now. And I think the reason why I'm excited is because look, the next World Cup, Harry Kane's going to be what, 34, right?
Mm.
How is Liam Delap not on that plane? He is 100% on that plane. Like. He's going to the next World Cup. He's going to be class. Thomas Tuchel will play him. He will get minutes and he will score goals. He is physically like I remember the Spurs game we played away at Ipswich. He latched onto Archie Gray, and you could tell this 18-year-old Archie Gray, who I love by the way, he's been playing amazingly, done an absolute number for Spurs, but clearly still needs to get some experience. He was like, I have no idea what to do with this man. Do I tackle him? Do I go man to man with him? Do I muscle him off the ball? Archie Gray is a beanpole compared to him, right? He is just such a good player. Anyway, we've gone on a tangent.
You have gone on a tangent, but guys, from FPL's perspective, I do think Delap is good. He's obviously cheap. He's actually probably reasonably high owned now. I wouldn't bring him in because he managed to run rings around Archie Gray. I wouldn't bring him in for that reason. That's their Saliba. If you want to know the gulf between Spurs and Arsenal,
he's not.
That's the gulf. That's the gulf there.
He's 3.3% owned. He's 5.6 million.
Is he? How? I'm genuinely surprised by that because he must be up there. 3.3%.
That 3.3% is all the Ipswich fans that play FPL. Every single one of them has him.
That is surprising. So he's what, 7th for forwards?
Maybe less.
Okay, don't get me wrong. So he's behind Kuna and Watkins, who have been injured a lot. Haaland, who's been injured a lot. But he's only done 50 points less than Chris Wood. And Chris Wood I don't think he's been maybe injured once, I think. I'm genuinely really surprised by that.
Yeah.
I mean, for that price, that is. And I also, you talked about the teams he's playing.
For that run in.
What I mean, you can see it's written in the stars. Arsenal lose to Ipswich, and Delap gets a brace. You're like, oh, if only Arsenal had a Delap, look what they could have done in the league this season.
It'll be all over the papers. Come on. So it'll be the moment that I'm gonna do something ludicrous now. It's the moment that Cristiano Ronaldo scored that overhead kick against Juventus, and then the Juventus scored when we need to buy him. Yeah. Yes, I am constantly aware. I have compared an Ipswich player to Cristiano Ronaldo, but we move. But onto you mentioned him. You mentioned Chris Wood because I want to talk about the Forest-Everton game, which is interesting for a couple of reasons. Firstly, because Everton got the win, and I think that's absolutely phenomenal. Amazing goal, great performance by them. Again, continues Moyes' form. Does show that Forest having a bit of a wobble. Will they fall out of the Champions League? If Newcastle win tonight, they go 3rd. Forest go 4th, and then Man City, I think, are a point or 2 off them. So a bit of a worrying concern for people at the City ground. But we could have 5 people in the 5 teams in the Champions League next season, so there's still a good chance of them making it. But the reason why I want to talk about it is because I think if you probably after this game week, if you can get to Chris Wood, is he not a set to forget? Even though Forest are having their wobble, even with the fact they have this FA Cup final, semi-final coming up.
So maybe,
or is he a bin? That's my question to you.
No, I would say so. Spurs, as you say, are rubbish. Brentford don't care. Crystal Palace don't care. Leicester don't need to say anything more. West Ham don't need to say anything more. Chelsea don't need to say anything more. So yeah, Forest actually have a great run. Do they have the best run? Probably actually. Forest probably do have the best run.
Is this why it's come on my radar?
Maybe actually no. Man City have the best run. Man City have the best run, but then Forest aren't too far behind.
Yeah, but this is why it's on my radar because I think that after my free hit in 34, I will be looking to get him in. If not now, I don't know, because I can, as I said, I can do Isaac to Wood, and then I can take Cliver up to Kevin De Bruyne.
Well, on that then, go on, Barry. What are your? I think you've already mentioned them already, but let's hear your top, your middle, your bottom. What are your shouts?
Okay, so my top. I don't know if it's a top. I think it's my top was going to be Saka, but it's not now. My top is actually going to be Rodgers. Let me talk about it. That's right. So I've owned Rodgers all season. He's played nearly every minute of the season. He's not rested. I thought he'd be rested at Southampton because massive game for Villa. Obviously, unfortunate to go out to PSG last night. Great performance. Rashford as well. Been, come out like absolutely brilliant. Shows how poisonous Man United are. But, he's done amazing for that. And yeah, in a much better position. But Rodgers has played nearly every single minute. And he's got that 2 double. Those doubles are difficult, but he will get into good positions and he will score goals. And I think that Rodgers is a banker then as a result. And he's so cheap. He's so cheap. Like, he is the definition of a set and forget. The only problem you'll have with him is that you'll feel like you need to bench him some weeks, and it'll be a difficult decision. Mm-hmm. So, Rodgers is my banker. My middling is Kevin De Bruyne, because I just think if you can get there purely for the love of the game, for the love of the game, Stephen, you do it. It's just there. Imagine he's gonna score. I said this before. He's gonna do well. I'm excited. I'm very pumped up, and I've had a Guinness or two. Mm-hmm. So look, that will be my middling. But before I reveal my rogue, I want you to tell me your
top middle and rogue, or
yes, no. Just go to your go for all of them if you want.
Marmoush is my must-have. He looks like a good signing. They have a blank in 34, which you need to be careful of, but nevertheless, he is a very good double. They have the best double coming up now. Then Wolves, Southampton, that's coming up afterwards. I think he really is a must-have. In terms of middling, I was actually struggling for middling. I guess middling actually could be if you know what that basically Harvey Barnes and Murphy. I still think Newcastle have a decent-ish run. Actually, no, my middling. Sorry, no, actually, I take that back. My middling is Kuna. Kuna has Man U and Leicester next. Man City away, but then Brighton. He's got a good run. He's a little bit expensive, but again, shop window.
He'll be in the shop window. Window. They want to get. Yeah. He signed the contract, so Wolves will get a load of money for him. Anyway, there was a player that played for Celtic, and he's deliberately signed a new contract so that Celtic would get a massive fee for him. That's what Cunha's done, and fair play to him. I mean, it's amazing. He gets the dream move that he wants. Wolves get a load of money for it. Brilliant.
Yeah, fair enough. The only Eastern European, I think, who plays for Villa is Stilian Petrov, who's now a Reform UK candidate. So that
I think it was Petrov. Is he Reform UK? Yes, you're middling. Go on. Tell us
my middling
again.
is Kuna, and then my rogue.
Kuna.
It's not my rogue. It's a rogues, but it's Jared Bowen. So
okay, Southampton at home.
Right. Exactly. Brighton, who again sort of running out of steam. Tottenham, Man U. Need I say anymore? I think that's a pretty good run actually. And then Ipswich on the last day of the season. So, but I mean, I can't really talk about rogue shouts anymore, Barry, because when I have a rogue shout like in Cisco, what do?
You put him on the bench third.
So I'm a disgrace. Honestly, I look in the mirror now and I see nothing but shame. So that's why I'm going that way.
Is that any change from the normal, or is it just an adaptation?
No.
Okay, so I'm ready to reel my rogue shout.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Go
Nico O'Reilly.
Who?
Exactly. Right.
Who's that?
Man City midfielder, tall geezer. Right. He's 19. He's playing in the defensive line, but he's also played as a wing back. But he's listed as a midfielder of the games. 4.9 million, 0.1% owned. He scored against Palace. He seems to be getting the trust of Pep. It is an absolute bogus shout because there is absolutely every chance he plays no minutes, like 0 minutes. But if you're feeling rogue, if you're feeling fruity with it, I think why not go for it. So Nico O'Reilly is my rogue shout. Saw him play at Leyton Orient, so I've live scouted him.
There it is. Okay, there we go.
He's
makes
a very
more sense
talented
now.
young lad.
I have a lot of bias for Sunderland players. I get it. So, do you know what, Barry? You've given a rogue shout who I've never heard of. So I applaud you for that. Very well done.
Thank you very much. So look, before we go into transfers, that I kind of want to do. I think the one thing I really wanted to get across, and something don't think people have really noticed, is we're all focused on the Champions League at the moment because of the story of Villa and Arsenal and all the rest of it. But we need to think about the FA Cup because the FA Cup is on the 26th, 26th and 27th of April. It's that weekend, right? And then they've got games either side. So your Villas, your Palace, your Forest, they're going to do mass rotation. So if you have those players, you really need to think about that because it's going to create a problem for you, particularly in this double game week because obviously Palace If you've got free Palace like me in the double, there's a good chance Munoz doesn't play, good chance Eze doesn't play, good chance Mateta doesn't play in that last game. Why would you risk them? So it's worth considering. But Stephen, what transfers are you going for? I've hinted at mine.
I'm actually not doing anything. I think I've got a decent team with a decent amount of doubles. I've also got 4 tries. No, I don't. I'm not gonna lie. I don't really have a bench boost team. I'm hoping something's gonna come to me. I still have a triple captain chip. If anything, Barry, if anything, it could be done. It could be done. Do it now. Can I do it now? Can I do it? Can I do it? Okay, so get rid of Son, and can I bring in KDB?
Of course you can. It's about the same price.
And can I?
9.7, 9.6.
And can I triple captain him? I believe I can. Barry, I believe I can. Barry, I believe it's happening. Because Gordon doesn't start, does he? So I might as well just do that. I make him captain. And Kevin De Bruyne, first of all, welcome to the team. Secondly, welcome to the triple captain armband. It's done.
Unbelievable. Brilliant news. I think I might be captaining him. To be honest, my safe captain bet is Mamouche.
That's who it was on. That's where I probably would end up. But Barry, it's a triple captain. I'm not going to go for the boring one. I have to go for something more interesting.
Of course not. I mean, I'm going to do my bench boost because I will have at least 13 doublers, maybe 12. I'll have at least 12 doublers. At the moment, I've got 4 double game weekers, 4 single game weekers. Sorry. But I almost certainly will be bringing in some double game weekers for those single ones. So, I'm going to bench boost, I think. Captain Kevin De Bruyne or Mamouche. But, question for you, Stephen, before we wrap it up for today. Mo Salah is playing away at Leicester. No player has scored more goals away from home this season. And no player has got the level of Premier League FPL points than Mo Salah has than anyone else Mo Salah has this season. He's just signed a new contract. Yes, he's been off the boil the last couple of games.
I didn't know that.
Are you tempted?
Well, no, because I've got Kevin De Bruyne who's got a double, but Mo Salah signs a new contract and takes his foot off the gas. Très intéressant. That's all I'll say. Conspiracies, Stephen. Conspiracies, secrets, and lies, as Homer Simpson would say. Well, look, that is a great way to end the podcast this week. Hope you've enjoyed it. Please give us a like and a subscribe wherever you get your podcast from. Again, apologies for the missing podcast. I know lots of you missed it, including none other. Shout out to Striker, who sent me a message saying something obscure. He sent me a Powerpuff Girls GIF or meme or something, and that was his way of saying, "Where's the pod?" So apologies for those that missed out on there and not knowing what to do without our much needed guidance and wisdom. We'll let you know when we find some of that. But yeah, we've been pleased, and also thanks to Rita for her editing, although now I'm going to be doing some of the editing as well, so probably it's going to go downhill from here. But yeah, thank you very much, guys. Please give us a like and subscribe, and we will see you next week. Thank you.